I hate for Critical Role. I don't know if I care to read that. But we'll see what he has to say. Okay. I bet this might have spoilers. So, well, we'll see where it goes. Hey there. I'm really curious about something. Yesterday, I went to some game shops in my city to ask about a local group groups that play D&D. I only have some experience with D&D on Discord, but I'm searching for a nice group to play with. Well, okay, he's going about it the right way. Playing online is nice, but my current group doesn't want to use cameras, and so I only ever hear them without seeing any gestures or faces generally. But okay, all right. So he's going out of, he's taking the initiative to go and do that thing. Yeah, my personal party doesn't like using cameras either. It's kind of lame and annoying. So I go into the shop, ask if the dude that worked there knows about some local groups to play with, and he immediately asks if I'm a fan of Critical Role. I was a bit surprised, but answered with yes. Why are you surprised? Because Critical Role campaign is part of the reason why I rediscovered D&D and quite liking it. Well, he immediately went off on how, and many other D&D players hates Critical Role, how that's not how you play D&D at all. What is this guy? Has anyone, people who shop at comic book shops, right? People who shop at comic book shops and all these other places, are they not, the people there, not some of the, like, aren't the people there sometimes just jerks? That either the shop owner or they're just like snobs of some sorts, and they own a shop and they have this idea. It's kind of the reason why I don't like going to some of these places. I love shopping there, right? But I rarely interact with the staff because they're like some of the worst customer service I've ever had. It's like comic book shops. Just like, you guys ever seen Simpson, comic book guy? Everyone's like that dude. I shouldn't say everyone, but every experience I've had at a comic book shop has been like that. There hasn't been like a comic book dude that's just been chill. They're all they're all like this. Like, who cares? What do you mean that's not my first like red flag is that when he says how that's not how you play D&D at all. Like, shut up, dude. Shut up. Like, that's a red flag. That's a you play D&D however you want to play D&D. There's no like wrong way of playing Dungeons and Dragons. These people on Critical Role, they're voice actors. They're actors, all right? That's what they do. Why do you think I stream Project Odyssey with other streamers? It's because we're streamers. We put on a show for people. We over exaggerate things that don't need to be exaggerated. All right. I could put on a show with my friends. It would be way less entertaining because my friends are there just to play D&D. But my streamers can't help but be egotistical pricks, right? we're all just in it for ourselves. I like Critical Role. My local comic book shops are cool as fuck. That's awesome. Tell me where they're at so I can go there, because I tend to avoid. Well, here's the thing. I'm kind of a recluse. I don't like talking to people in general. Like, I tend to just, I go, I do my thing, right? I do my thing. So he's probably a cool guy. I probably just avoid them. But geez, most of my experiences with comic book guys, they're always such jerks, man. There's no place for me. That he hates Matt Mercer and so on. To be honest, it was a bit shocking. Yeah, I like Critical Role, but I'm not that delusional to want to reproduce it. Yeah, right? We all know. It's like watching... I do think Critical Role can foster some unhealthy expectations in new players for the game to be like what they see on the show. Maybe, but it's like watching porn, right? Like at first you see porn, and maybe if you're a virgin, you're like, oh yeah, like porn, that's how sex works. And then you have sex and you're like, that's not how sex works. It's like I say maybe porn's a bad example because maybe porn gets a bad rep. But like, that's like watching TV shows, right? Like, you watch any TV show i.e. women scream a lot. You watch any TV show, drama doesn't work that way on TV shows. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they don't. What's like Euphoria? Like, you can relate to that TV show, Euphoria, right? But everything is cranked up to 11. I know when you play a video game, you're playing Grand Theft Auto. I know that's not how I solve my problems, by walking into a strip joint and going, blah, 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 right? Like, people... Yes. Does it bring expectations? It is definitely having that conversation in session 0 about it. Session 0 is the most important session in all of D&D groups. Never watched it? Never watched Euphoria? Well, I recommend it. I love Euphoria. Oh, man, boy, do I love drama. What's it called? I lost my train of thought. You got me thinking of Euphoria there for a second. Yes, I do agree. Critical Role, there is that, what is it called? Matthew Mercer effect. But I think it's putting, like, hear me out. This is going to sound weird, but I think that's giving Matthew Mercer too much credit. I think, yes, you can go in there and you can have those expectations that the game is going to play like that. I've had those expectations. But you go in there and then you create your own story and you have fun making things happen. And you're kind of like, oh, this is fun too. It's the same thing. It's just not, the players, most of the time, the players they're not as creative as the DM, right? Because the DM's creating the world. The DM's doing all this wild stuff. And I say most of the time because a lot of times more players want to just play. They want to show up and they want a story to be told to them and stuff like that. But they're not thinking of the interpersonal relationships that they have with other people. And this is why I tell people, like, if you're playing D&D, if you're a player, do not wait. Don't wait for the story to come to you. Don't wait for the perfect time to announce your backstory, right? Make it happen. Make it happen. I don't care if it's the first session and you fight a group of bandits and then you're just like, oh my God, guys, I love you. Like, just do it, right? Do it and see what happens. You don't have to be a mastercraft storyteller. Don't wait for people don't strike first. Yeah, kind of sad we aren't having a real session 0 before we play the new campaign. Everyone has played together, but I had to make a character last night without knowing who everyone else was playing. We're also starting level 1. Yeah, now, there's a lot of people. I think the only person who should know, I am actually making my first real backstory and not just a vague 3 sentences. Oh, I'm excited for you, Yami. That sounds so freaking awesome. I'm hella excited for you making your own backstory. Yo, hell yeah. So session 0 is, I want to hear about it, by the way. Like, if you want to go in the Discord and post it in D&D 101, hell yeah, I would read that. And I'd love it. I'll steal that shit and put it in my game. I used to be really into making stories. Well, considering that you had like 1 million characters on the side, I don't doubt it. I'm pretty sure each character had a story, but it can get diluted. On the one hand, I love backstories, but on the other hand, I don't believe that everyone should have to write prose, just like not everyone has to draw their characters. 100% agree. 100% agree, Evelyn. So I'm also fine with the bullet point backgrounds. True. Yeah, I think like not everyone, and that's like the point I'm going to go back to is what I was saying. Like not everyone is as creative as the DM. Not everyone is that creative, right? A lot of times I tell my players, I was like, you don't need a backstory. You don't like if you just want to show, if this campaign can be your backstory, right? You grew up, you had a normal life, and now you want to go on an adventure, and all the trauma you're about to experience through my diabolical plans. That's your backstory. This is what your new thing is gonna be. The other players, I'm like, I don't care if it's generic. You don't have to be creative. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. At the same time, I never push my players to role play. If there are people who just like D&D for combat, right? There are people who just don't know what to say, my wife is one of them. She sits back and she's just quiet the entire time we're playing. But every week she looks forward to it. She is so disappointed if I have to cancel a session because I have to do something for the stream, or I have to do something for other things. She loves it, but she doesn't do anything. She literally rolls some dice and hits some creatures. Right now we're going over her backstory, so she has to do a lot of role playing, and she's like, the spotlight's on her a lot, and she's not, she's freaking out, and she doesn't know how to do it, and she just says a lot of the same things. But nonetheless, she loves it. She loves it. I will once I finish it. I have a question to the DM, since we are supposed to be forced into a job, prisoner, slave, or something classic Skyrim Elden Ring start, like that. I have that. I was forced to be a prisoner for 3 years on a boat, but I don't know if the story starts after the forced job or before. Interesting. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, yeah, it's adorable. She loves it. I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be doing Dungeons and Dragons with my friends. I would be putting more time into streaming, more time into Project Odyssey, more time into the other avenues that I do, because D&D takes up a lot of time because I'm the DM for it. And honestly, if it wasn't for Caitlin, the fact that I made the whole reason I made the group was so that she could play D&D, and the whole reason it's going on is so that she can keep playing D&D. What's a tarnished character? A tarnished character? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the thing. So later on today, we're going to be making an Elden Ring character. Elden Ring, you might know, well, Elden Ring. I don't know if you're familiar with that, the From Software game that everyone's talking about. I've been playing it myself. But a Tarnish is essentially the character you play as in Elden Ring. And I think there's some key features that separate a Tarnish from just your average everyday like RPG character that you make on like any other RPG game or any other D&D character. Because other than that, a Tarnish is essentially just a D&D character, right? Like your character in the game. So we'll be making an Elden Ring character, some splash characters, so that way you can enjoy it. Looks like my alerts are not working. Ezio, thank you for the sub. Thank you for the sub. I appreciate it, man. It's been such a journey. 11 months, dude. Almost a whole year since you found my channel, bro. Today we're doing the first day of the D&D. What I hope to be many. So far, I'm enjoying it. Many D&D content, and I'm liking it so far. How you doing today, Ezio? How you doing? How you holding up? Just getting out. We've just been reacting to some D&D Reddit posts, been sharing our stories, sharing our things. Actually, we're probably about to make the Tarnish character right now, considering things. I need to fix my alerts. I don't know what's going on with that. After the stream today, I'm gonna fix my alerts. But yeah, for sure. I don't know. I don't know why they're broken. They've been broken for like a whole week. No more. They will be broken no more. Just woke up from a post-work power nap. Hell yeah, dude. Naps scare me. They do. Naps absolutely scare me. They scare me because I never have a good one. I always wake up feeling worse than when I went to sleep. I wake up like my head is like everything's out of order. My mouth is dry. I'm just like, oh, why did I take a nap? Why did I take a nap? Sometimes they scare me. Sometimes though, you can get a good nap in though. Power naps, it's weird. You can lay down, close your eyes for like a couple minutes, and then you're like, oh wow, I feel good. Let's go run a mile. I've been loving naps the last few days. I bet your sleep schedule is all whacked up, Yami. We had the time change, right? We just recently had the time change, and then you went and flew over to the East Coast, and then that's that. Now you're in a different time zone. Been doing a ton of walking. Yeah. Whew. Yeah, that'll put you to sleep. It'll make you want to take a nap after that. All right, let's finish this. Tiamat was a bit shocked. I like Critical Role. And D&D never mentioned. As for D&D, never mentioned Critical Role. This guy hates Critical Role so much that some poor dude was like, "Hey, I'd like to play D&D," and this dude was like, "I hate Critical Role. Don't expect any Critical Role BS here, you little boy." And the dude's like, "Whoa, bro, all right." And he starts walking backwards. Adding to that, at least in my opinion, there's no right or wrong way with D&D as long as you have fun with your friends. Agreed, 100% agree. And of course, everyone can like or dislike whatever they want, but I was surprised with this apparent hate. Well, long story short, is there really a hate against Critical Role? Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be haters. Let's see what comment says. I don't care for Critical Role simply because I enjoy playing, but I don't enjoy watching. I'm the same. I'm the same way about like Twitch and streaming. I don't like watching other streamers. I don't care for it. I don't care watching other people play D&D. I know that's very kind of hypocritical of me because I make that type of content. The only reason I watch Critical Role, the only reason I started watching Critical Role was to improve my DMing. The only reason I started watching other D&D, the only reason I started watching other streamers was to improve my capabilities. And then I got roped in, and then I was like, oh, I enjoy this. And I started watching it for pleasure and not for work. For both streaming things. I failed to get into Critical Role for years. Then I discovered they released the podcast form 2, which is loads of fun. Yeah, that's what I do. I listen to the podcast. I'm still on campaign 1. I don't miss I'm doing the exact opposite. I love watching things consistently as background for game work etiquette. Watching things for background is one of the best things. And that's what I started doing. I put a streamer on while I'm editing videos for like YouTube and stuff like that. By the way, join the Discord, join the community. We talk about D&D, we talk about other weird stuff down below, and join the get the